After exam, they stay in their yard to mark the question papers of the students. Those that are importers, when they import their goods, they go to the market and supply and come and stay at the home. As the days that customers give to them mature to collect their money before they travel out again. How do you report to them?
Big question.
Brother Jude, the present world is a technological world. And technological world means a world of electronic machines. Why not people to store CCTV cameras and they monitor, even when they go out anywhere, they are monitoring things that happen in their yard and in every room. In France, can you enter in any compound in France and take anything? Their camera will pick you and reveal you in their technological screen, and you will be picked up. And we are in Nigeria using the old method, using analog and manual surveillance system. It will not work until we go technological. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. That's Okonkwo in Rumokuta. All right, WhatsApp and Telegram available on 0809-030-6416, 0809-030-6416. All right, at Nigeria Info PH, at Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and on Twitter. At Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and Twitter. Then this morning, our conversation, the question I asked this morning is: how much research should a landlord do before taking in a tenant? What exactly are the things? What do you suggest? People say, no, the tenant, the landlord should do proper background check. But what is proper? What is proper? The man looks for 20,000 naira a month. You're asking him to what? Spend that 10,000, 20,000 naira to go and check if Jude is working in Okoko Michael? No, now.
Stay with us. Nigeria Info.
do to, as it were, make sure that the hands they have either at their offices or maybe the people who have been renting their apartments are using it for good things. At least the things that have been stated that they should do. In fact, there's a clause in the contract I personally signed, where it was explicitly stated that please, these premises would not be used for illegal activities such as running a brothel, such as being a ferry house for drugs and illicit activities, yada yada. It was clearly stated there. So now that was done, what else does my landlord need to do? Does my landlord need to come, drive down to where I supposedly work and find out if Jude really works here? Does he need to ask my colleagues, have you seen Jude carrying, bad things? Yes. Is that what the landlord should do? Well, let me ask JJ, because he's on the line. I wonder if he has had experiences such as the one we're talking about. JJ, did your landlord check your birth certificate when you entered his house?
No. No. But there are forms you fill that will show information. Whether they do background check, I don't know. But some of them, for as long as you can pay their bill, then you're good to go. But I must also tell you that while growing up, there's what they call drink money, and people still collect it today. Drink money becomes a landlord bonus. But in actual sense, if you have 10 flats in a compound, right, and one is vacant, and JAJ is parking into that one that is vacant, that drink money is for the landlord to buy drink for everybody in that compound so that they can introduce me, right, to the entire compound people. That does not mean that other people cannot buy drink, but that money is not the landlord's money. It's supposed to be like a welcome, like people welcoming me into the compound, and we share pleasantly and introduce ourselves. Oh, my name is JAJ. I work in XYZ company. I do this, I do that. You don't know who is listening. You don't know who will do background check. But today, they still collect the drink money, but they use it to drink into their own stomach.
Wow.
For people to know these people again. That is why you don't even know your neighbors. Dude, until we go back to that area where there is one Saturday evening, people will gather in the compound and say, look, we want to introduce your new tenant to you. I live in the compound right here. I have children around here. I don't even know them if I pass them on the way. This one come, this one go. I don't know them. You don't know their names, nothing. This is not Nigeria. This is not Africa, for goodness sake. So until we go back to that area where people can now know each other based on the introduction done by the landlord that will not use that drink money to drink his own drink, then we may not make any headway, because you don't know who could have saved this situation after that has happened in Rumosi.
All right.
We are living dangerously. Thank you very much.
JJ says we are living dangerously. But let's find out from our older callers. Welcome back to Hello Port Harcourt. We have Clement in Ada George. Clement, good morning to you. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Jude.
Welcome.
Mr. Jude, you did not tell us that this property that was used as a kidnapping den will be forfeited by the tenant. I don't know if that is true.
Well, I don't know if that's what the agreement they have with the tenant, or if that's the legal ramifications.
Government is taking over that property. That is what the tenant will ask to pack out. I don't know if that is true, sir.
Well, I don't know. Well, when we have more information, we'll definitely let the general public know.
Okay, because in the clip you played over concerning these voices, they were asked to pack out and they were given 48 hours.
Yes, but that doesn't mean the property has been forfeited. It might be just be closed for investigative purposes. So I don't know. Once again, when more information is available, we'll let you know.
Is completed, the courts will now decide if that will happen, right?
Yeah,
so for the time being, I believe that landlord will not be smiling at this point in time. Will not be smiling. Exactly. So this should not be the case of the landlord who refused to carry out background check as a result of not smiling when something like this happens, that you are supposed to have done something.
But Clement, what is this something? Once again, nobody's saying that landlords should fold their arms, but what exactly should they do? What exactly, even you, if you were to employ a housemaid, the best you can do is to say, Oga, who you bring, go, where this person from? He good, but you don't know if the person has committed, thievery in their village. How are you meant to know?
Yes, just like the previous caller, JJ said, this drinking money used to be where new neighbors will familiarize with old neighbors. And that is where you will now start hearing, I am from Edo State, I am from Agenebode, Agenebode, Oshomole people, or Dokpesi people. With that alone, you have you have linked me, who is not popular, with a popular personality, and then you have now known my village gone. You understand?
I see.
So these are ways that you will know where I come from. And then maybe a neighbor there who is from maybe Ayogberi, for instance, a neighboring community from my village. That is what we now know. Do you know? I'm not sure if you know. Maybe you have not checked. That maybe somebody in your street is from Agenebo there, and you will live in that area that you are living for 10 years, and you will know
yeah,
from your place.
Very true. Yeah. Very possible.
These are the reasons why we are a community, we are a society. Let's know each other, and the landlord is the one that can make it happen. It's not just collect money, collect all that you to collect, and then you go and sleep. In this case, happen to landlord who refused to investigate as little as simple investigation. Thank you.
A lot of pressure on landlords. 923, good morning, please.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome.
I've been calling since, and thank God I was able to get across to you. My name is Standard.
Welcome, please.
And this discussion really concerns my profession. That was why I've been trying to call across. I think the problem is most landlords, or few, don't really want to do the right thing at the issue, and that's why these issues are coming up. Normally, it's not even the job of the landlord to be stressing themselves over who a prospective tenant is, where he works, and all that. There are people who it is their professional jobs to manage properties and to let and lease properties. These people are estate surveyors and valuers, which I am one of. I am a professional estate surveyor and valuer. When a landlord gives you the power to manage his property, you understand, it is now your duty. You've taken off that duty from him. You are the one that does what is called a due diligence. For instance, Jude, are you there?
I'm listening to you, please.
Okay, good. For instance, a tenant wants to come and take a property, a two-bedroom flat somewhere. I give them a form where they will fill everything about them, where they work, their company ID card, where they were living before, why they are moving out from that place that they were living before, and all that. Now, by virtue of being a professional estate surveyor and valuer, we work with the security agencies, we work with those in Ministry of Lands too. We work with a lot of, there are a lot of firms we work with. So sometimes we could just go for a background check of that person. If the person has a criminal record, it could easily be fished out, or even with the name of the former place the person was living. If it is another professional surveyor that is managing that place, you could easily call the person on the phone. We found out, this tenant that was living in your property before, they want to now come and rent my property. What's the issue? Why are they living there? Why are they parking out? They can now give you a reason that either they were not paying the rent or whatever reason they were evicted from that place and all that. So these are, and the landlords want to run away because they pay us 5% professional fee for managing their property. So they don't want to be paying that money. They think they can do the job all alone. So you can't do it alone because most landlords are busy. They have things doing, and they are not professionally trained in school to be estate surveyors and valuers.
Okay.
So when you don't employ the right person to do the right job, these are the things we have once in a while.
All right, son, I'm going to let you go, right? Because I have Ima on the line. I have a question. If you can send us a message to answer that question, Ima. Okay. All right. So this is my question. So you want to collect data from prospective tenants. The question there is, where is the limit? Because some of this information that you just described, sounds a bit too much. You're asking the person where he works, his ID card. In fact, there was a friend of mine who was trying to get an apartment, a very lovely apartment, and They asked her for her numeration. You work here. How much do you earn? And she felt uncomfortable. Why would I need to tell you? You are not the EFCC. You are not even a bank staff. I'm not banking with you. You're not any financial institution that I'm trying to borrow money from. Why should you be asking me about that? Why should you? There's an issue of privacy in this particular scenario. Once again, I totally understand. There's a lot of logic here, but then where does the boundary lie? Because all over this country, there are people who are dropping their details. There's a lot of data being collated. That's one of the reasons why scammers can just call me. They have never met me before, but because my number's been dropped somewhere, they just randomly blast messages, hoping like fishermen to grab somebody. There's an issue of privacy in this case. Bachman 3, good morning. Oh dear. Bachman 3, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, please. Welcome.
Okay, I'm the mayor. I think the last caller, one of the last caller that spoke at estate barrier is saying the right thing. In advanced countries where these things work, landlords on their own don't just manage their property. They are contracted to people, agencies like this would manage, and these are professional institutions. They take data and but also find out, where you work, what you earn, for you to be able to pay that rent. Because we've had situations of Yahoo boys today. They just, go elsewhere. You don't know how they got the money. These are classified information that are necessary. So until we turn to be doing things like the advanced world, will remain like this. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Line number 3, good morning.
Good morning, John.
Good morning, please.
My name is Tony. I'm coming from Port Harcourt.
Yeah, go on, please.
Some of the information that we take is very difficult to disclose, for instance, where I work to somebody who is just an ordinary estate seller. I don't have any relationship of business with the other than the tenant. And for you to now say landlord should start doing a background check, I tell you maybe I'm from Orobo. The landlord will not have to be somebody that will go and verify my address, what I do, if the address given is correct. I don't think that is necessary. What we should do is, periodically, as a landlord, if you have that, you can check your property, check what is happening there. Have, if it's once or twice meetings with them, you know your tenant very well. But also, we have landlords who have properties all over the place. How do you then monitor your tenant? To me, it's just to do the needful, get it form, where either your barrister will interface with your tenant, feed the necessary information, so that at the end of the day, you can ask, okay, this thing I have done. It's not, you are not the father of that tenant, so you cannot politically determine the kind of business he does. Another cannot come and knock me and ask why I'm buying the house. Why are you not going to work? That's not his business.
Yes.
That's not his business. His business should be, am I owing you? I'm not owing you. So after, would you not come and knock me and ask the kind of business I'm doing? So it's just to do the necessary paperwork. Fill the form. Paperwork is evidence. Fill the form, document it, and keep. Ask all the necessary questions to ask in that form. And file it for you. So that when issues like this arises, you can ask, even if government locks that place, you can take government to court and reclaim your property.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for your contribution. And let's get to WhatsApp messages now. 0809-030-6416. Good morning, Jude. There is what is called local knowledge. Know your neighbors and your neighborhood. See something and say something to the necessary persons or authorities. Savior from LMM. Good morning, Jude. See, okay, putting your own business down as a landlord to pursue your tenants. Some are after their money, and some tenants would be tagged as a gossip or village people in tenants for monitoring of their other tenants. This only is why. Okay, all right. I can't read that. I'm sorry. It's not very constructive. The nature of the job where the tenant is working needs to be known by the landlord. The passport should also be obtained. Major Modi with that. But once again, right, I understand some form of identification is needed. Yes, maybe an ID card, maybe a passport, things like that. People do that so you can say, oh, this is the person that has been in my house. Granted. But beyond that, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is very superficial. It is truly superficial. I have a passport. I can go to LMA and say my name is Okon and Okon. It's there. My passport says it's Okon and Okon. I can fake an ID and say, oh, my passport is Okon and Okon. Meanwhile, down at Rumosi, I have Jude on my passport name or as my passport name. Both both landlords have done the fair bit, which is make a record of this person staying. It is important that records are kept to know who is staying where. That's not a problem. But how much of a background check should they do? How much? Do they have access, for example, is there a database where the landlords can put in somebody's number, just like the way it is done in the US, where your social security number can be used to find out where you are currently living, the last time you made a transaction, and what exactly it is you're trying to do? There's a trail. Is that what is obtainable here? Hello, Potaka. Good morning. Final caller.
Yeah, hello, Jude.
Good morning.
Based on that, the estate surveyor, I just thought that it so that I could explain something.
Yes, please.
I've listened to 2 callers, and I just want to explain something again.
Hello, Standard. Hello, Standard.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, go on, please.
Yeah. Now, it simply means that the landlord has you are now like the acting landlord over the property. Sometimes the tenants won't even know who the main landlord is. It's you that they know. And as a professional now, this information we get from the tenant is confidential. It's just like if a doctor wants to treat a patient and the patient has this and that, the doctor will just go and be telling everybody, oh, this patient has this, patient has that. That's the same way we work as professionals. All information we extract from the prospective tenant is not for public consumption. It's just what we keep to ourselves and say, okay, when we give them they see all those things. Sometimes we even try to find out, are you married? The name of where your wife works, because some information from your wife's company could help us know the kind of person you are. Sometimes when they fill those forms, we might not even give them the house when we look at it and they don't stick in to what the landlord wants, the tenant for their property.
But Stan, let me ask you. You see, some of these things you just made mention, they can give rise, sadly, to some form of either stereotyping and then discrimination, because we live in a time where one of the most heated conversations in the past 5-10 years is that landlords don't want to give their apartment to single girls or single men, and that's why you find some places the rent is high because these single men have to pay more just because the landlord doesn't want single men in his house.
You might be right. You might be right in a way, but then there are sometimes each landlord have their preferences, and also there are specific apartments for specific. There are places where you go to, you know that maybe the rent range, depending on the area, you know that somebody like this, if you're not doing this type of, you can't afford to pay for this place. Say you're a single lady, you want to go and live in a 3-bedroom apartment in GRA, which is worth over, like, say, 3 million, 2.5 million. And so people will really want to know, what do you do? It's very important for just a single lady, maybe who is in her early 20s, or maybe even do. People want to know because it's a bit suspicious. By the time you pay the rent, pay the service charge, sometimes the service charge per quarter of such properties are over 700,000. What kind of job are you doing?
Oh, all right. Thank you very much, Tana. We have a break coming up. But in response, I do know a cousin of mine who earns just over 1.5 million a month. Not a drug dealer, not doing anything, but provides accounting services to a few multinational. An auditor. She's not 35. She's not 30. And yes, she is single. And she lives in Lagos. My name is June. Hello, Port Harcourt returns.
Big protein breakfast. That's the secret.